Piecewise functions. The name comes from a function or an equation being described more than one way. These are the pieces. How many pieces can you have? There's no limit. This one has 3 pieces. And what does this mean? It means if your x is less than or equal to -4, use this description of f of x. If your x is between -4 and 3, use this description of f of x. And if your x is greater than or equal to 3, use this description of f of x. So the first step is to determine and identify which group your x is in. For example, f of -7 means the x is -7. And x equal -7 is in which group? It's in the first group, since the first group includes those x's that are less than or equal to -4, in which case you would use this form of f of x. F of 1. This is x equal 1. And where does x equal 1? Which group is it in? It's in the second group. It's in the group of x's that are between -4 and 3, in which case you will use this description of f of x. And f of 6, that's the x equals 6. What group of x's is x equals 6? It's in this third group. Those x's that are greater than or equal to 3 is a group of x's that x equals 6 is in which case you will use this description of f of x. So let's evaluate f of x. F of -7. So the x is equal to -7. So it belongs to the first group of x's. So you use that description of f of x, replace the x with the -7, simplify, and that gives you f of -7 equals 29. What does f of 1 equal? Well, the x is equal 1. That x is in the second group of x's. So it uses this description of f of x. Since this doesn't have any x's, what it means that is, if that x is in that group of x's, it's always going to be f of x equal 3. So regardless of the x, since there's no x here, regardless of the x, y is going to equal 3, which means f of 1 equals 3. F of 6. That means x equals 6. X equals 6 is in the third group of x's. So it's going to use this definition of f of x. So now you plug in the 6 where the x is, simplify, and so f of 6 equals 8.